We're a small local citizen advocacy charity. We support vulnerable adults in communities across West Fife. A vulnerable adult could be somebody 16 and above with a learning disability, dementia, a personality disorder, living in their own accommodation with family in supported housing. They experience social isolation, exclusion.
It's to give a voice to vulnerable people living in West Fife, essentially. People who otherwise may lack the confidence to speak up about things that are important to them, may feel that they're not otherwise being listened to, or simply don't have the vocabulary or the speech due to their disability to speak up for themselves. So we can help their voice be heard through citizen advocacy. So we introduce people to someone within their community who will act as an advocate for them. And that advocate gives their time freely, can come from any background, any profession, and does so because they feel it's the right thing to do and because they can make a difference.
There are really two strands to this. One side of it is about speaking up for somebody, that's advocacy, and that would be for somebody who struggles to speak up for themselves or maybe isn't heard when they do that. And the other side of it is a friendship, a trusting relationship.
Her friends and family didn't visit her, so an advocate was decided to be put in place for her so that she had somebody to speak for her, to make sure that she was getting all the things that she needed, that her money was okay, that people were looking after her, and there was somebody to fight her corner. And basically that was my job, and that's why I'm an advocate for Vicky.
If you're lucky to have spare time and have your health and so on, then I think it's a fantastic opportunity to get involved with the local community and to put something back into society.
It's a good feeling, because being an advocate, it's something that you're not used to. So when you become an advocate, it opens up your horizon to everything. And it's just an amazing feeling to learn, especially learn new things, and meet some amazing people.
Been an advocate for about 16 years, so Annie and I have been friends for 16 years. It means that I'm helping somebody who's not as fortunate as myself. It means I'm a voice for my partner because she can't talk. Some people will say, oh, you have to be a certain kind of person to do that, to be an advocate. But if you've got some time and you really care for people, and it's very rewarding.
A lot of vulnerable adults in the community have no one in their life that isn't paid to be there. There is no one to support them and to guide them, to give them advice, to look out for them. I would say that's probably why there's no one else there.
I think there's a great need for advocacy, citizen advocacy in West Fife at the moment. We do everything we can with the resources that we have to find advocates for every individual that is referred to us, but at the moment there are people who have asked for advocacy that we simply don't have the resources or the capacity to work with at the moment. So the need is out there.
I don't think people realise how many vulnerable and isolated people that there are in the local community. I think people very often think that somebody living in the same street as them, because they're living out in the community, have this kind of supports and networks that we all do. But just because somebody lives in the community in whatever setting, in an ordinary home, doesn't necessarily mean that they have the kind of friendships, family support that we would all have. So the need is massive.
We'd provide a citizen advocate who is a volunteer who gives up their time to support someone, whether it be in care meetings, give them a voice, If they have no voice, if they're non-verbal, they would support someone to become more involved in their community, join a club, learn a new skill, help them get a job, find appropriate accommodation. We want to replicate what should already happen in the community. We want to be neighbourly, to be a friend.
We like to go out for tea and eat cakes, and we visit our family. We do crosswords, don't we? And watch TV. Just whatever. It's really about Sally. It's whatever she wants to do, and I try and support her in whatever it is she would like to do.
I usually meet up with Stephen on a weekly basis, once per week, and we either play chess in his flat or play Monopoly on the Wii. Apart from that, I also attend his care plan approach meetings, tribunals, and various meetings with his staff. So I'm involved in the what you might call the technical aspects of advocacy, in terms of speaking up for him, as well as the friendly aspects where we socialise.
It's quite a big responsibility. It's you're taking on like a friendship with someone, and I was really nervous, but I realised it's not. It's you're just creating a friendship. You're just talking to someone about anything and everything, and doing just normal everyday things that you would do with anyone.
To recruit a new advocate, it can take a fair bit of time. First of all, you need to get to know the person who's looking for the advocate quite well. You need to find out their likes and dislikes and their particular needs, why they're looking for an advocate, what sort of person they get on well with, what it's like to spend time with that individual. And then as a development worker, my job is to go out and network and try and recruit within the local community to find that ideal person. Not just a person, but the ideal person to match with that particular individual. So that would be somebody who maybe they live geographically very close to the person they would be matched with. Maybe they have something in common in terms of a common interest in sport or music or theatre or whatever. Similar age, personality match, or all of those things. So it can take a fair bit of time to find the right person, but when you do, hopefully that means that the partnership will work and it will be long lasting as well.
We do one-to-one training with a member of staff where we look at things, for example, like confidentiality, which is very important. We look at different scenarios that an advocate might come across. We also do some group work. We have some evening sessions that we run, and that's a chance for new advocates to meet other people who are doing the same kind of thing as them. It's a chance to discuss together how they might face certain situations.
We always make sure that new advocates get a chance to meet an existing partnership and a couple of existing advocates as well, so that they can hear their story and ask them questions as well about their experience. And then after that, it's very much done on an individual basis depending on who they're going to be matched with. So we make sure that a new advocate knows about their partner and about what would be expected of them when they meet with their partner, any communication difficulties, anything such as that, and it's very individualised from that point on.
Yeah, I felt really well prepared. Yeah, the training evenings were great, and the first few times I met up with my partner, Ewan was there to support us as well, so we knew a bit about each other and felt confident in each other's company before we set off on our own. So yeah, it was fine.
We are, I think, essentially looking for people who want to make a difference in somebody's life. It's very important that they're caring, they value ordinary local people and want to spend time with somebody and see their life change, and not necessarily expect any great rewards themselves from that, but they will get those rewards.
There is really no such thing as a stereotypical advocate or a perfect or an ideal advocate. General things, I guess, in terms of being open-minded, warm, all our advocates would fall into that category, but in terms of background and personality and interests, it really is very varied. We have people who are retired, we have students, we have police officers, we have people who used to be in the military, people still working full-time in the banking industry, and every other profession and background you can imagine can be an advocate and are advocates within Dunfermline Advocacy. So there really is no such thing as a typical advocate, I would say.
People need to consider what kind of advocacy work they want to do, if it's a long-term commitment or a short-term commitment, because I think there's options there for both. And you know, you need to ask yourself, are you ready to commit long-term? Because not everybody is at that stage. Other than that, I would say it's very rewarding, you know, and I think it's something, you know, that gives back positively to society. And if everybody did it, I think the world would be a better place, so I'd highly recommend it.
You would need to want to do it and want to provide support and care for someone, and you would need to want to do it over a long period of time, because you are committing to support someone's life, and you're going to help them do things that they might not otherwise do. My comment would be that it's not a short-term hobby, it's a long-term commitment, because you're going to be part of somebody's life.
Always like what you're doing. Don't feel embarrassed by anything. Don't. You have a fantastic backup with the people that work with the Dunfermline Advocacy, and if you're stuck with anything, they'll not let you down. They'll help you. Enjoy what you're doing. Have fun.
You can also expect to have some good and bad times and to share those times, but the friendship aspect is tremendous, and I thoroughly enjoy that with Stephen. We get on like a house on fire, and to be honest, I'm really so glad I did this, because I would never have met this nice young guy if I hadn't done it.
There are around about 100 individuals who are giving up their time at the moment to support Dunfermline Advocacy, either as an advocate, as a volunteer board member on our board of trustees, get involved in fundraising events and various different things, long-term advocates, short-term advocates. But I think we do struggle a little bit with people knowing about us, I guess. So my key messages would be, this is what we do. This is a good thing that we do, and it helps a lot of people, and you might want to consider getting involved.
There is a need for your support in our community. You would be surprised at how many people are vulnerable and isolated in the community where we live. And I would say, get in contact. I would say we would love to support you. If you feel that we would be able to provide a service and help you, then get in touch.
The benefit I get from citizen advocacy is that I get to see my advocacy partner Stephen progressing bit by bit. Sometimes it involves 2 steps forward, maybe 1 step back, but overall in the almost 5 years that I've been Stephen's advocate, I've seen progress where Stephen has more freedom, he has more control of his own life, and things are moving on slowly but surely, and it gives me an enormous satisfaction to see that I'm actually making a difference in someone's real day-to-day life.
You actually get something out of it yourself as well, because I've gained a friendship from it as well, and it's so rewarding and it's so much fun. It's not like giving your time up completely, it's totally sociable, and yeah, it's really good.
Certainly when I see the impact that advocacy has, there's no doubt in my mind that it's a fantastic thing to be able to offer people.
It's a friendship you'll never ever get anywhere else.